our ability to thrive and to produce results in the physical realm. You know, it's our ability to achieve goals, to generate prosperity, to stabilize prosperity, to be realistic, to be practical. And so with that, we wanted to take it a step further, and we're going to start doing a type of materialization that we've never taught before. And so we've taught it, but usually there was just one phase to it. But the advanced work is actually to go through and to do it the way we're going to do it tonight. And so what I would like you to do is, you know, later you can go through and do this for other goals, but tonight I want you to pick one goal that you're really wanting to work on, something that either is important or you're having difficulty with, and just close your eyes and hold it in your heart right now. Experience it, feel it, think of the good and the bad and the parts that just feel like they're shut off or whatever it is, and then make yourself some notes.
For another choice for Rue.
Well, St. John's wort would be another one. If you don't have that.
Would Ironbark you?
No, Palo Santo. Do you have Palo Santo?
Oh, Kelly, you don't. Kelly doesn't
Sage.
have mugwort. Okay, so let me get Pat first, really quick, Pat. Pat, do you have Palo Santo? Yes, good.
Okay.
Kelly, in her angel kit, she didn't get the Artemisia. She got the bay laurel instead. So she doesn't have a fourth oil. She doesn't have splendor or
No splendor, no mugwort.
And she's taken higher creativity in the angels.
Okay, and she doesn't have any other oils? Or?
She has the other three. She has the hyssop, rue, and benzoin.
Have we used nutmeg?
Okay, Kelly, go ahead and use your nutmeg. Troy, which one are you needing? I see you have hyssop. I see you have rue. I see you have tarragon. It looks like you're, maybe you don't have splendor. Artemisia. Okay, he's needing his fourth oil as well. So he has accurate perception, African bluegrass, basil, black spruce, calamus, cedar Himalayan, chakra root cleanser, conductivity, eucalyptus poly, foundation, galbanum, the gymnocephalum, giant fir, the glory of Lebanon, higher creativity. I'm not gonna, he has hyssops, but that's, we have lavender, cashmere lavender, lemongrass, materialization, mental purity, oneness, prosperity, protection, sage supreme, sinus health, sitka, spikenard, vetiver, and wormwood, and ling-ling. And
do the giant fir.
Okay, Troy, for the last one, use giant fir. Okay, Troy, and everybody, I'm gonna actually type in really quick the 4 oils you're gonna wanna have. It's the Ptsd oils, which is tarragon, rue, any hyssop, and either splendor, mugwort, or artemisia. Okay. So those are the 4, because we're hitting all 4 of those oils. So tarragon, rue, hyssop, and then for the 4th one, you have splendor, mugwort, or artemisia for your choices. And I will keep posting because I keep having more people come in still. Again, if you don't have it, go ahead and type it in the chat room. Let's see if we can find you one of the 4, if you're missing any of those. Somebody asked, what does benzoin replace?
Tarragon.
It replaces tarragon. Troy, does your tarragon bottle still smell inside? Can you smell the tarragon? Is it okay if I do it like this?
Yep.
Okay, just sniff it through the bottle then, no problem. I think we're pretty good, actually.
Okay, and how many are we on?
We have 51
Okay, I think that's about,
average.
yeah.
Okay, so again, close your eyes, and you're going to work on one goal tonight. So later you can add other goals, but right now you're working on one goal. We're going to take it very, very in depth. So just close your eyes, hold your goal in your heart as you think about it, and notice how it feels. Okay, make yourself some notes. It feels good, it feels bad, it feels doable and not doable. You turn off, you go numb. Now, instead of doing notes tonight, we're gonna post the notes right after we're done with this. We'll do that, we'll post the notes tonight. So just follow along, plus you'll have the recording. So just follow along tonight and do the practice as a healing, a healing process. We'll post the notes for you and you'll have the recording. We're recording, right?
Yep, I am recording.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, so open up the tarragon or the benzoin if you don't have the tarragon. You're holding the goal in your heart and begin to inhale. Continue to inhale. You're still holding the imagery of the goal, the end result, not the process, the end result. Move your awareness over to the shoulder minors. You're still holding on to the imagery. Shoulder minors are the little creases where your shoulder and chest meet on each side. Your awareness is still on your goal. You're still inhaling tarragon.
all she has is higher creativity, and you collect us.
Who's this?
Linda.
She could use hold on the last one. Or she has underneath, yeah.
She's wondering for this first one.
Oh. She just has the materialization.
No, she's higher creativity.
The ginger grass.
Okay, move your awareness to the back heart. Okay, let the imagery go. Move your awareness down to the navel. Move your awareness 1.5 inches below your navel. No more imagery, you're just inhaling. Move your awareness to the top of your head. Just let go, be still. Keep your eyes closed, let go of the inhalation. Now hold your goal in your heart and notice how it feels compared to 5 or 10 minutes ago. Do you notice a difference? Grab your bottle of roux or the replacement. Begin inhaling. You're holding the image, the end result in your heart, and you're beginning to inhale. Keep holding the image, the end result in your heart. Move your awareness out to the shoulder minors. You're still inhaling Ru. Go to the area between your shoulder blades, the back heart. Still holding on to the imagery. Let go of the imagery. Continue to inhale Ru. Move your awareness down to your navel, your belly button. Go down 1.5 inches below your navel. Continue to inhale the Ru. Go to the top of your head. Just be still, be aware. Just be still. Keep your eyes closed. Now reach for the hyssop. Any form of hyssop, including Solomon hyssop, will work. Hold the goal in your heart, the end result. Begin to inhale the hyssop. Continue to inhale the hyssop. Your awareness is on your heart. You're thinking of the goal, the end result. Shoulder minors. The back heart. You're holding your awareness on the back heart and on your goal. Let go of the imagery. Your awareness is on your navel. Drop down 1.5 inches below your navel. Move your awareness to the top of your head. Continue to inhale with your awareness on the top of your head. Just be still. Just let go of everything. Just be still. Okay, let's have you reach for the last round. So you're going to be using Splendor, or you're going to be using Artemisia, Mugwort, or one of the other options we gave you. Splendor is the A+ choice. Artemisia and Mugwort work really well. That would be an A choice. You're holding your goal in your heart. Begin to inhale. Continue to inhale. Continue to hold the image in your heart. Your awareness is over on the shoulder minors. Move your awareness to the back heart. Let the imagery go. Move your awareness to the navel. You're not visualizing anymore. Your awareness is simply on the navel chakra as you inhale. Move your awareness to 1.5 inches below your navel. Move your awareness to the top of your head. Just be still, be aware, just let go. Close your eyes, just let go of everything, just let go. Okay, so now hold your goal in your heart and compare it to when we started. Is there a difference? Type in what you notice in the chat room, just so we can share experiences a little bit and learn from each other, or at least validate each other.
It has a life of its own.
Life of its own, very good. It's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Expansion and flow, deeper in my heart, less anxiety about it.
Deeper in the heart, less anxiety, more flow.
It feels real. Very
Feels
authentic.
real.
No resistance.
No resistance.
More relaxed, no tension in body and heart. Softer, not as defined. Sparkly, expansive, and alive. Feels at home and already exists.
Somebody said feels at home or it already exists, right? So this process that we just did, we did integration, but we took it through the 4 steps of the stress protocol. So when you're bringing something into creation, you are bringing something new where you get pushed off balance. Then you visit the hypotheticals, like what does this mean? What is the value of this? You're establishing value. Then you begin to form the strategy, and then you implement the strategy. So you're doing the same thing, but this is actively doing it for something you want to bring in. The difficulty when we want to bring something in, we have part of us that want it, and then there's part of us that resists it because it is something new. This helps to override that mechanism, right? This helps to override that mechanism. Now, we're still going to use those 4 same oils, but now we're going to do the materialization process. So again, go back to the first oil, the tarragon or benzoin or whatever you used. I think it was just tarragon and benzoin. Benzoin is a very good substitute for tarragon, by the way. So again, let's just revisit. You're holding the oil to the chest. You're visualizing your goal. You're visualizing, and then you're going to inhale, hold, exhale, and then hold, and then down, inhale, and then up, exhale. Okay? So visualize your goal. You have the tarragon or benzoin. Okay, inhale, hold, move your head up, exhale. Head down, inhale, hold, up, exhale. Do it about 8 or 9 more times with the tarragon. Just be still, be aware, just let everything go for a moment. Hold the goal in your heart again. We're still working with the tarragon or benzoin. Keep holding the goal, the end result. Chin down to your chest. Inhale, hold, up, exhale, hold, down, inhale. Repeat this 8 or 9 times. When you get done, just be still, be aware, keep your eyes closed. Just let go for a moment. Again, hold the goal in your heart. You're still working with tarragon. Chin down to your chest. Do the materialization breath 8 or 9 times. When you're done, just be still, be aware. Now reach for your roux or your substitute. You're holding the goal in your heart. Keep holding it in your heart. Chin down to your chest. Do 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths. Just be still, be aware. Maintain your stillness. Hold your goal in your heart. Okay, again, 8 or 9 materialization breaths with the root. Just be still, be aware. Hold your goal in your heart. Chin down to your chest, still with the root. Inhale, 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Be still, be aware. Let's reach for the hyssop. Hold your goal in your heart. Let go of the image. Move your head down. 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Just be still. Be aware. Hold your goal in your heart. Chin down to your chest. 8 or 9 materialization breaths. How does it feel?
Yeah.
We're on this episode. Okay, go to your last oil, the Slender or whatever replacement, mugwort, artemisia, whatever it is your replacement. Hold your goal in your heart. Chin down to your chest, let the imagery go. 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Just be still, be aware. Hold the goal in your heart. Put your chin down to your chest, let the imagery go. 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Just be still, be aware, just let everything go. Let the imagery go, let the animation go. Just be still, just let go. Maintain your stillness and awareness. Last time. Hold the imagery in your heart. Let go of the imagery. Put your chin down to the chest. Hold the splendor up for the replacement. 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Just be still, be aware. Let go of everything. Keep your eyes closed. Visualize a golden flame on your crown, about 1 foot high. Just let go. Keep your eyes closed, just let go. Okay, visit your goal now. Just hold it in your heart. Type in what you feel, what you notice.
I can't hold on to it. Feels like my body is the night sky and the goal is stars twinkling.
That's a beautiful way of saying it.
I am one with it. The motivation is crystal clear, very real, sweet, and wonderful, peaceful, light, free, expansive. Image is crystal clear. It feels very comfortable. It feels awesome.
It feels like it's a part of you, and in a way, sometimes like it feels like it's always been there. You notice that? Like it's not something new. It's like it's always kind of been there. It's been in your unconscious for a while. You're just bringing it to the conscious state, the state of awareness. Now, here's the thing. What we're tapping into here, is we're playing with yin and yang, right? Yin and yang. And so the thing with yin and yang is they are opposites. Yin being form, yang being essence. Now, one of the rules, one of the laws of yin and yang is when yin becomes so excessive, it produces yang. When yang becomes super excessive, it produces yin. So when things become more and more polarized, it produces the opposite, right? So our minds, by the way that they work, the way that we've had them trained, you know, different cultures actually train their minds slightly differently, right? But in the West, the way our mind is trained is we tend to fixate on the form, right? We fixate on the form. And so even when we want something different, we're still focused on the form, we're focused on the form, we're focused on the form, and it becomes so intense, things don't go well, we double down on the form. And so what happens is that attracts, or that brings in the essence, but the essence is tied to the form that we're focused on, right? So if the form hasn't changed, you just keep attracting the same thing over and over and over again. A lot of times when we want to do something different, we go, I'm going to focus on the form the same way I always do, but I expect different results this time. If other people help me, maybe I'll get different results. If I double down and think harder, maybe I'll get different results. If I, dress up in different clothes, maybe I'll get different results. But the focus is always on the same form, right? So here we're going, let's focus on essence, right? On essence, right? So essence is really hard to focus on because it's basically nothingness. There is no form. So it's hard for our mind to grab onto that because it's not certain. Like the person who said, it's like it's the night sky with stars twinkling. It's a lot like that. That was a beautiful way of saying it. It is essence. It is energy with consciousness. It is an idea. It's the wind. It's just something. It's like looking at a candle flame. It's there, but it's moving. It's constant, but it's not. It's something that's very, very fluid, right? So we can't just go, okay, I'm gonna put my awareness on essence because there's nothing for our mind to latch onto, right? So one of the things that we have done over these classes with the materialization is we're constantly trying to re-educate so that you are able to, you already do form really well, right? But we want to be able to move it so that you can do the formless just as well, right? So little by little, we're kind of re-educating little by little, little by little, little by little. So each class is like a stepping stone to the next class. Even if you don't do them in order, they're doing different pieces. But at some point, this practice becomes a little bit more intense where you really start to cultivate the essence of something and you take it to the extreme. You have this whole new idea. You want this new direction. You want this new goal. You want to reboot the form, right? The form is not working for you. The form is what is physicalized. It is the structure, right? So if you go to the essence and you go, okay, what is the idea? And you take it to the extreme, it starts to attract a new form or an upgraded form, right? So when it attracts a new upgraded form, the vibration of the form has raised. It can handle more essence. It starts to break down old ways of doing things. It starts to reorganize. Starts to be creative destruction, right? So with this, when you go through and start doing this, it is starting to regenerate. But at some point, as you keep doing this and doing this and doing this, you actually are starting to engage the creative process. Now, the creative process isn't something where you go, oh, I'm going to create something and I'm just going to bring it into form. Usually what you're doing there is you're generating something. You're reacting to something in the environment and you're tweaking it to make it work, right? That's generation or regeneration, right? To bring something into form, when you're actually genuinely creating something, right? You're genuinely creating something, you're bringing it from the inner world and you're bringing it forth into the form, right? So to be able to do that, you have to be able to tap into essence and then attract the form, right? That brings it into the form. Now here's the issue, is we are super conditioned by our previous ways of thinking, right? So what happens is, even when you're tapping into the unconscious, thoughts are constantly dropping into your head that are from your past, right? From your past. By going through and doing these 4 steps, first the integration, where we did heart, shoulder minors, back heart, navel minor, crown, you're integrating something. You're in a way manually conditioning your brain to have a new experience, but almost like on steroids, very, very quickly, right? That way that when you start to tap in and try to bring in something into materialization, it starts dropping in the information into your cognitive processes very, very quickly. Otherwise, what happens is, over a period of time, you're still dealing with the past and impressions of the past. So by going through and doing this, this makes this process super, super potent. The reason that we don't start off with this right off the bat is your mind needs time to adjust and adapt to so much change, right? So much change. Now, there is a version of this for working with angels as well. It's different oils. The process is the same, but the oils are very different. We'll actually teach that at some point with the angels. We might do it in Angels 4. For the ones who had the Angel 3 class, you notice Angels 3, you've never seen anything like that in a book. Like what I showed you guys, you've never come across that and read, this is what you're doing, right? Level 4 takes that several steps further. Then on top of that, to do the 4-step integration and materialization process with the angels, there's a reason why I kept saying don't worry about the definitions of the angels. Basically, that's small potatoes. And finally, when we did Angels 3, the ones that were in that class, you saw what I was talking about when we started doing that the practice right at the end. Whatever you thought was the angels, by the time we got to that point, it's very different than what you read in books. So this is the materialization aspect. There is a process for angels, and then there is a process like this for relationships. The reason that I don't teach it for relationships, at least not at this point, we will at some point, is if people misuse it and do it with people that they really shouldn't be with, guess what? You kind of are bonded no matter whether you like it or not. So we're teaching the other methods first before we teach the version of it with relationships. So with that, there will be a relationship 2 class. It'll be called something different, but anyway. How's everybody feeling? Does anybody I can take 1 or 2 people if they want to just speak up, and then I have to jump into another meeting. It was very intense, was it not?
Greg, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
Megan.
Hey, Megan.
working on this basement remodel. It sounds simple and straightforward, and we already have the money.
No, remodeling is never simple and straightforward.
No, we've been really lucky. Like, we bought this total.
Good for you.
Been here for about 7 years, and
Wow.
we just had fixing it up little by little, and we've really been lucky, and we've had great guys working for us, and everything's been smooth. And this is the first time I'm, obviously the coronavirus hit, which stopped a lot of things for everybody. So that's just kind of what we're all dealing with. But, we're just working on the permit process right now, but it's just taken forever. But when I'm visualizing it, and I've been doing this for a few months now, off and on, and in these study groups, I'm always doing the same thing. So, not now, please. It seems like the project's shrinking. Like, I'm just seeing less of it getting done when I look at it. It's a little discouraging. I'm like, no, I wanted to do that part too, and I wanted to do that part too, and I don't know if I'm not as successful as I thought I was.
Yeah, so sometimes what happens is what you might be perceiving is potential obstacles. I was sharing over the weekend, because we were doing this for it was a year ago, like this month, and so it was last June, and we were booking for this retreat center in Virginia, for these groups of practitioners at this retreat center, and I was shared this on the weekend, and when we were booking it, like I just, God, something about it kept being off, and I was like, well, God, it doesn't feel like there's going to be people there, and I was doing versions of this, and every time I would do it, I didn't see anybody. And I started questioning Miriam, who was incredibly tolerant with me through the whole process, because I couldn't give her a straight answer. She kept going, what is your problem with the center? And I was like, on paper it looks great, but I don't see people being there. Like, honestly, I don't see people being there. And so I started questioning her, like, how are we going to get people there? What is the marketing? We were visiting all the stuff, and like everything was like normal. She was doing all the normal things, and there's a big group of these practitioners, and it kind of fits in with their practice, and they do a lot of the inner work, and it just seemed to be a good fit. But I kept saying, boy, it just doesn't seem like it was going to happen. Like, and I kept doing this practice. I go, well, maybe I just need to energize the platform more. And every time I would do it, something would start to like grow, and then it would just completely go away. And I was just like, boy, I'm not comfortable signing the paper, because we were going to be legally obligated, not just for the venue, but for so many of the rooms that the students would be staying in. And I was like, boy, I'm just not comfortable with it. I mean, it's a lot of money if something goes wrong. And it would be a great idea, and it would be nice and everything, but I'm just, don't mean to be a dick, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, why? And I was like, I really don't know. I mean, I don't have a straight answer. Well, time went by, and we just moved on, and I actually ended up just going to her area, and we did a little class there, and on the same weekend, and I had completely forgotten about it. And it was the first weekend of April, and she goes, do you remember we were supposed to be in Virginia this weekend? And I went, no, I didn't. Well, that whole area had been shut down because of the quarantine.
Yeah.
And I mean, I completely forgot about it. And it was like, you can energize that thought form all you want, but the environment is the environment. You know what I mean? And so sometimes what happens is you might get that it's going to be a different time frame. It might be that there is an obstacle there that needs to be addressed, or that the dynamic of what it is might change, and that becomes clearer and clearer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it's not like that. It wasn't that it was a bad thing, but I mean, I could have tried to force it, but it still wouldn't have made it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it doesn't mean like when it seems like it's going away, that means that it's going away. It just might mean that the dynamic is changing. You know, it can mean all kinds of things, and so just to constantly be aware of it is good, because you never know. I mean, who would have said, you know, that all this quarantine stuff was going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember if I shared this on the weekend, but you know, I was interested in the remote viewers. You know, it's not like clairvoyance. It's actually something very different. And I really don't want to do it, but I was curious on what they were doing. And the guy who's really good at it, that kind of teaches it here and there, is he's an ex-military guy. Like back when Oliver North got caught back in the 80s and got in trouble, he was his counterpart. And you know what they were doing is they were using remote viewing to try to spy on the Russians, and the Russians were doing it to us. And so about 5 or 6 years ago, I saw basically people stuck in their houses, not allowed to go outside. And I thought I saw like camps where people were not, you know, were being held. And then to me, it looked like there was a foreign military on the US soil. And so I was describing it to him, and he kind of started shaking his head like back and forth like this. And he goes, yeah, that's a military force. He goes, but what you're describing is a US military force. And I was like, why would the military be on the US soil? And like, why is everybody stuck in their house? And he goes, you know, who knows? It's really similar to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And even both of us, we were like both looking at each other, and he goes, really? Well, like, you know, he was having me explain more of what I saw. And I kept going, well, you know, there's this piece and there's that piece. And, you know, we were trying to make conclusions about what I was seeing, but I had no reference. And you know, even back then, who would have guessed that it was over, you know, a virus?
Yeah. Could not be guessed.
No. And so, I mean, you pay attention to those things, and you know, you still try to move forward, but at the same time, you pay attention to, like, you know what, I might have to pivot at some point. I might need to do something different. I might, if it's just not working, then step back and reevaluate. Or sometimes it's just, you just wait for a little bit.
Yeah.
You wait for a new door to open.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes. I think I can do one more. Anybody? Or maybe a couple more.
Greg?
Yes, yes.
So in A Course in Miracles, it says that one of the 50 principles of miracles is that there is no order of difficulty in miracles.
Uh-huh.
In the materialization technique, is it like, does anything go? Like, it doesn't matter what it is?
Well, there's got to be still some certain parameters. You know, like there was this one time, the student came up to me and said, well, like, I'm trying to materialize something and it's not working. And I said, well, you know, did you try this? And you tried, you know, we went through all the steps. And finally, you know, she was like, yeah, I've tried, you know, she had tried all the different things. And so finally I was like, if you don't mind, tell me what your goal is. And she was wanting her eyes to turn from brown to blue. And I was like, oh, okay, but you know, maybe biologically, I mean, it's always possible that it could happen, but I really doubt that that's probably a thing. There's biological reasons why the eyes are brown. And so, you know, you still have to deal with the limitations of forms. And so it doesn't mean that things can't change, but at the same time, you know, it depends on forms. And, you know, there is a bit of a karmic issue. Like if there's situations where the person's karmically maybe not titled, you know, there's usually people who try to win the lottery with doing something like this, and they'll go, it's not working. And it's like, well, it might not be working, but it also might not be karmically something that is, you know, doable, or it's so huge that it might take a really long time for it to pull together. Where at the same time, there was this one person where he was doing the practice, and he had a small business, and he just goes, you know what, I just want to be really, really super successful. And he goes, I don't even know how that's going to look. I just want to be super successful. And, you know, he did the practice, and in 3 weeks, this person who ran a Fortune 500 company contacted him and said, you know what, I've been paying attention. I saw your business and your business model. I would like to look at you to possibly being partners. And, you know, little bit of time goes by, and boom, they're partners. And then a little bit later, he brings in another partner that's a billionaire. And so, you know, this person attracted this situation in a way that this situation materialized really out of nowhere. And so if you would have said, could you do this? There's no way that he had the connections to make something like that happen. No, unfortunately, what happened was he was also not ready for so much change to happen so quickly. And he had difficulty being successful. You know, so after a period of time, the success became really uncomfortable. You know, he wasn't used to that much success. And so even though he started having all that success, psychologically, he had a hard time handling that much success at once. And so that became the difficulty. That's why we ease into it little by little with the mind.
Can you do the materialization in devotion to a loved one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But the first about 12 or 13 years I did this, I did it to a deity.
No, I
Yeah.
mean like a family member's health
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, very good for healing, by the way. Yeah, very good for healing. Yeah. I mean, it's a form of shamanic healing.
I used it last night during a healing, before a healing, and it worked very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually produces substantial results. We've had people like stand up, we've checked the range of motion of their back or their joints, like shoulder joint or something, and we did a form of this, not even as involved as we did today, and there was substantial increase in range of motion. You know, it's something that you could visually see the shift and the change.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Greg.
You're so welcome.
Someone did ask, which one is yin and which one is yang? Which one is essence? Yin or yang?
Essence is yang, yin is form, right? So that's why in like the fairy tales, yin would be form, and so that's why it's Sleeping Beauty, not the Sleeping Prince, right? It's usually a princess. So yin is feminine or the form. Yang is essence.
And then how often can we do this?
You could do this, I mean, if you wanted, you could do this every day for like a couple weeks in a row. I mean, I've done it 30 days. After that, you can just let it incubate for a while. I mean, for 30 days, it has to be a really big project. But, you know, after about a week, even one session is pretty substantial. But if you do it every day, let it incubate after about a week or two.
And then the remote viewer teacher, was it John Buckland?
No, it wasn't Buckland. It was, what's that guy's name? Ed Dames. Dames. Yeah, they call him, what do they call him? Dr. Doom, because he's always seeing like these bad things happening and predicting these bad things. And so he was a character, I'll just say that.
Is paraphrasing the goal important? Somebody said, like when we ask a question, like a tarot reading or something.
I'm not quite sure. What's that mean?
I don't quite get the reference either, Channing.
Yeah, Channing, you mind?
Yeah, you know how sometimes when you, before you have a tarot reading or you ask a tarot card a question, it's really important to be super crisp. So when you asked us to think about a goal, how crisp or clear do we need to?
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, no, actually, that's a great question.
Because
Um,
I have a hard, like when you said, no, write down your goal and think about it, I had to write I had to make edits because it wasn't very
yeah, no,
clear.
that's okay. It's more like symbolism. It's more like watching a commercial. You know what I mean? It's like it's not the literal pieces. You know, haven't you ever watched a commercial when it's like, you know, a couple and they're walking down the beach and you know the shoes are off and the waves are coming up to the beach and you know they're close up of their Levi's or their pants that are on and the wind's blowing in their hair and then it'll be French's mustard. You know, it has nothing to do with mustard, right? It's more of a feeling, right? So it's a lot like that. It doesn't have to be the exact details. You're dealing with the unconscious. So it's a lot more like dreaming than you writing down facts like you would during the day. And so after the deity, what I started using was symbols. And so you could actually even use tarot cards. You could use tarot cards, you could use archetypes, you could use all kinds of things. The imagery of what you're trying to bring in is more like a dream or a symbol rather than the exact data.
Okay.
So what will happen sometimes is it's kind of going back to what Megan was saying, is like you're focusing in on a goal, and what happens sometimes is it will change. You know, like the one, I usually tell this story where he was a CEO, and you know, he was in the process of selling his company, and like he would close his eyes, and then every time he'd like pop up like that, like he'd, you know, almost like alarmed. And after 2 or 3 times, the last one he went. And so, you know, there was a break and everything. I said, everything okay? And he goes, yeah, every time that I was doing the materialization technique, my goal would disappear. And he goes, I kept thinking I was disintegrating my goal. And he said, but finally I realized I'm so stressed out and I'm trying to sell my company and I'm so focused on this one piece and negotiating this one piece. I underpriced my company by $150 million. He said, I just realized in the middle of that, I was about to make a $150 million mistake. I teased him. I said, well, I only charge 10% for, you know, fixing those mistakes.
That's great. Because I was using a vision board and I felt like it was so pedestrian to use a vision board, but
no, vision boards are great for this. Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah. Vision boards, if you want to make the vision board, I mean, you can do the red and yellow. The other way of doing it, you know how like there's the checkered flag for racing, you know, black and white?
Yes.
Black and white checkers. Do the border with a black and white checkerboard. Because the black and white is tied to the yin and the yang. And so that actually attracts energy from the environment.
What about the red and
red and yellow will work. You can kind of choose either one. But when it's black and white offset like that, even Master Chola talks about it in the back of the advanced book. When you offset the checkerboard like that, it's actually considered an energy generator.
Does it have to be on the frame, or can I use the black and white checker on the mat board?
You could use it on the mat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah. I actually find that to be a little bit stronger.
Okay, I have it actually framed in white frame, but I'll do something with that.
Yeah, just put like a checker flag around it, or you know, just color something, you know, just something where it's like a rounded or you know, some version of that.
Okay, I'll go get a spray can of paint.
I like the way you roll.
Thank you, Greg.
You're so welcome.
Naraini, did you still have a question?
Well, yeah, I was just clarifying because I know. Hi, Greg. It's Narayan. I know obviously with a lot of this manifestation work, it's about kind of honing in and like you said, not necessarily the details, but kind of having a vision, having some clarity. But I was wondering, when you referred to it being good for healing, if you can kind of do it more, a bit abstractly, kind of like offering it to the divine and saying for the highest good, whatever needs to come and get rebalanced.
Well, you could do to the highest good. Like sometimes because like sometimes you are maybe dealing with somebody and you don't know what the health issue is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And so you just put your attention on the person and then do the practice, or visualize them in white light. You know, either way. I usually just put my attention on them. You know, because there's a way of doing healing where, like say the person has lung issues, right? So one of the things, going back to the thing with the vision board, is you can actually take pictures of healthy lungs and put them like on the vision board, and then sit there and just stare at the healthy lungs every day for a certain amount of time, you know, at least 10, 15 minutes a day. And that actually will stimulate a healing process in the person's lungs, you know, whoever's staring at the picture. And so if you do it with the materialization technique, it just amplifies that. And so Master Cho actually talked about that. He said, you know, it's so abstract that most people doubt that it would work. He said, but if the doubt is not too big and they have the time and they will sit and just stare at the healthy image, you know, the healthy body part, and just keep focusing on that, he said that actually can cause a cure.
That's great. Thank you.
You know, like say a person has a tumor on the brain or something. They can sit and look at a brain healthy with no tumor, and that actually would start to set the pattern of reducing the tumor.
Yeah. I just wanted to share, that's just reminded me of a simple story that when I used to teach yoga in California about 20 years ago, I had a gentleman who came in and he was paralyzed from the waist down. So he'd come in his wheelchair and he would maybe move his arms a little at the beginning of class, but he would just visualize the rest of the practice. Right. And he said when he would sit and meditate at the end and just visualize on his legs moving, he would generate like an awareness and a sensation of his legs actually coming back to sort of be energized and to be active and to be moving. But it was like an inward sort of manifestation of visualizing and feeling and sensing it. They weren't really actually there or working or, you know, moving. So it was just sort of drawing and focusing and visualizing on it in his mind and then kind of having the experience. So it was
nice.
Some kind of thing. Yeah.
Tracy?
This is a little separate from this, but I was just thinking about doing the forgiveness technique with a big group of people. Would that be not a good idea? Like a huge group of people?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
There's a lot of unrest here, and I'd like to.
In Birmingham or in other areas?
In Birmingham.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there riots or?
No, not so much now. It's just
Yeah.
I can just feel it everywhere I go. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Different parts of the country, boy, there's still a lot of stuff going on. You know, we were just in Louisville this last weekend, and you know, we really didn't see any of it, but like you could kind of still feel it, and everybody just felt wiped out. You know, like everybody was just. It affects people in ways that we don't even realize.
Oh yeah, that's why I was feeling the way I was. I went out in public.
Yeah. 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 It is the bizarrest time I've ever seen, by far.
Yeah.
I don't even have words. You know. So, okay, you guys. So next week we are still going to continue with prosperity work. We'll give you a heads up on the oils to to bring. And the ones that, if you want to review, we are teaching the prosperity class, materialization class this weekend. So if you want to review on Zoom, email us at plantpranacalendar@gmail.com so that we can get you the link. But yeah, we will be doing that. And then the following weekend is the Angel 3 and Angel 4 class. That's, we're going to get busy with the angels.
All right, guys, if you want to join any of those, plantpranacalendar@gmail.com. I also just typed in, if we did not get to your question tonight, go ahead and type it over to Plant Prana Calendar.
I'll put the patterns on. I have to jump into another meeting for Astara, but I'll put the patterns on either first thing in the morning or late tonight when I get done with the meeting. And then that way you can